So we have here an amazing group of developers that have all traveled to tell you about what their experience building mini apps has been. And so I've personally been a user of many of their apps, and so today what I'm very curious to hear about is their journey and how building mini apps has compared to everything else that all sorts of other things that they've done before. And so maybe we can get started with just a quick introduction from each of you, a bit about your backgrounds, and how did you end up here?
Okay.
We can start with you and then down the line.
Hi everyone, my name is Jake. I've been a web developer for about 15 years, mostly back-end, but some full stack stuff too as well. I'm also a moderator on the World Discord server, so if any of you just joined, hit me up on there. My name is Robot on there. I've been building LLM-powered mini apps, so learning and mentoring style apps. Yeah, it's been really cool to build mini apps.
Sorry about that. Hey everybody, my name is Ty, or Titan. I'm a co-founder of the Ep.03, Magnify Cash. I've been building blockchain apps for about 5-6 years now. Recently in the last 6 months or so, started building on a world, had a really amazing experience actually. Got welcomed in by a lot of the world team, and had a lot of success, which I'm sure we'll get into. It's a really great experience building on World. If you have any desire to do so, the team will happily help you out, and there's a lot of just various resources. The documentation is excellent. But yeah, I mean, my background is sort of as a builder, as just kind of like somebody in the space just trying to build apps that are very unique and helpful to people. So it's been a great experience.
Hello, my name is Chu. We are Web3 builders. So we started a pub desk on other blockchain, not World, and then we expanded to multi-chain wallets. And now recently our main focus is building mini apps on blockchain.
Super cool. And so something I always love to hear is, and maybe you don't remember, but how did you first hear about World, and what did you think about it when you first heard about it? And then how has your thinking on it evolved as we've gone on? Maybe we can go in reverse order now.
Okay, so I was reading about proof of personhood last year, and then I told to my team that we should try, because the market is full of bots. In crypto market, it's full of bots, so we think this might be the place for us to reach real users. So we started an experiment, mini apps, again mini apps, and then I remember I submitted in Thailand because I was in that con last year. Yeah, and my co-founder, he pumped into Leighton, the head of ecosystem, and then he wearing the t-shirt with the brand name of the company. Then they started their chat, and then our app got approved, and we had a group chat, and then we started from there.
Yeah, so actually, I remember seeing just a lot of the initial, I think, World Chain sort of videos that came out. I knew about World for a while, but it didn't really occur to me like that there was a whole ecosystem that I could start building on, like a chain and everything. And I think a lot of the videos and sort of like releases started coming out right around DevCon. And so my team and I, we were building an app, and we started building it as a Telegram bot because Telegram bots were pretty big. And we realized that a lot of the tech that we wanted to sort of build around, actually, World already had, and it was already native, in the mini app ecosystem. So we actually had a Telegram bot MVP for DevCon, but I DM'd Alex Blanya, and I told him about what we were building, and he was like, yo, you should make this a mini app, like what are you doing? And then after that I got in touch with Leighton, the head of growth, and again he told me the same thing. He's like, what are you doing? Like, get a mini app, like hurry up. And so DevCon, we kind of had like a little MVP release, and then quickly within the next month we got a mini app turned around, and it was a really cool experience. A lot of growth and traction upon the initial release of that. But that's how I heard about it.
So I've been following large language models for a few years, and I found out about World through the OpenAI community, and so I jumped in the Discord server and started learning about the tech. This was about 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, and I could see immediately like that this tech was going to be really important and really exciting. The way the tech's designed, to make it really easy for people to onboard themselves into crypto, and the journey for doing that, like I think is really great. It's so streamlined for users. Like a lot of them don't even associate World with crypto and Web3 and blockchain. And there's millions of them, right? And now we can serve them all with actual utility. This has been the dream in Web3 for a long time, is to actually onboard hundreds of millions and eventually billions of users into crypto, and World is doing it. And mini apps are like the best way to deliver utility and value to all of these people that are joining the network. So I was really excited when I found out we were doing mini apps, and I'm obsessed with LLMs, so I just jumped straight into building large language model services as a mini app. And I don't have too much experience with smart contracts, so that's why I focused more on something that was fun and useful. It went really well. People are really enjoying using the app. And I also wanted to make it free, and because of World ID, that's possible. You can give people a free allowance, and you know that they won't be able to exceed that free allowance because it's one account per human. Really enjoying mini apps, and the growth has been incredible. And seeing all the different mini apps that are coming out is really exciting.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's definitely been very cool to see members of the community that have been around for a while, like yourself, then take the leap to actually start building in the ecosystem itself. So maybe we can talk a bit about the developer experience and like what it's like to actually build a mini app, because some things are similar to how you would build other kinds of apps. Other things are a little bit different, especially compared to crypto, right? As you were saying, we try to abstract away a lot of the complexity, and it's a little bit different than building a dApp or some other things. So I wonder if you guys can talk a little bit about what your experience has been like, and if you have any tips or any piece of advice for developers that will go and build their first mini app. What are some of the learnings that you've had? That's great. Yeah, let's go in reverse again.
Okay, so my favorite thing about mini apps is that they're web views, right? So you can use whatever tech stack you're already comfortable with. You're just building a website that's optimized for mobile. So there's so much freedom there, like especially for me as a back-end developer, I wanted to use the tech I'm already familiar with, and I have all the tooling set up for that. I just needed to make sure the front end was like optimized for mobile view, and then integrate the SDK. So yeah, like that flexibility of just building a web view is fantastic. Obviously the distribution, you've just seen the stats up on the screen, the growth is incredible. You don't have to do any marketing. You just need to build your profile, launch the app, and you get thousands of users, tens or even hundreds if you create something really valuable. And then of course all of the wallet stuff. You've got access to proof of personhood, you've got all of the wallet transactions, integrating with smart contracts, NFTs, and accessing the OS, so like notifications and haptics. So yeah, there's just a lot to love.
Yeah, I think there's actually a lot of different points just on the development side alone. I think one of the most important things for me though, starting out, was how easy it was to interact with like the developer portal. And it might seem like a small thing, but I've been building on various networks for many years, like Base Chain, Ethereum, all these different networks. And I just found that like a lot of times the developer portal experience was just kind of like pretty weak. You wouldn't find like all the different resources that you would need to be able to kind of like, see impressions, see users, see like transactions, see like all of the different aspects of your app, for example. But then also the fact that when you actually develop with World, you can create a mini app, and you're not really having to create the UI UX for the user. It's already built, it's already there for you. So you're just tapping into an existing experience that the user is already familiar with. So you don't have to really like rethink like, oh, like how am I going to get this, this user to interact with the wallet? Where am I going to put the button? It's like it's all native to the experience. And then what Jake said, just kind of like all the other sort of plugins that you have that are all native to the the MiniKit SDK. It's very easy to work with, especially if you're using LLMs these days. If you're using like Cursor, which most people are, to kind of engineer these days. It's all very native. The LLMs know how to interact with it. In fact, one of the coolest things I found in the documentation was the LLM ready documentation, where I could just sort of take it as a raw data file and give it to an agent to build. That was really convenient. No one else had been doing stuff like that. So I think that in general, the world is always thinking like, how do we sort of improve the developer experience so that we can get more people to build? Realizing that there's more and more people who are maybe just maybe not long-term engineers, but just becoming engineers as a result of a lot of the AI coding tools that are coming out. So yeah, really thinking through how to improve that experience for users or for developers as well. But there's a lot of different points that I could keep going on, but I'm sure he's got some too.
So I'm going to talk about the point of view from the product. So you got to know your user, because user involves from different part of the world, different language and different behaviors. So to us, we add the Google Analytics everywhere, so we can know where is the pain point, where the drop point, and then we tweak from there. And then the second advice is that you should read the docs, because man, this is a really good docs. The World team have pulled a very solid, well-structured, easy to understand docs. And if you ever stuck somewhere, the answer usually in the docs. Yeah. And thirdly, I think the builder communities on WhatsApp is really active. You should join the Discord, Telegram, because if you're stuck somewhere, someone has solved it. I think so.
Those are the pieces of advice. I love it. I'm curious. I'm a little bit biased. So while I am an engineer before, what I really love is design, and what I really love about the apps that not only people in general have done, but having used your apps personally, I know that you also put a lot of care into like the experience. I wonder how have you thought about that in the context of building mini apps for these kind of users and with these kind of primitives, and how has that been different than what you would have done for other platforms or other crypto products before? You can go first.
Sure. So we have built on other chains, and it's a completely different experience. So on other chain, you're gonna get the infra and sometimes grants, and then you on your own. With Word, we have the existing fast-growing, continuously growing user base, and then you're gonna get an extremely good infra and grants also. And so, and the user is around the world, so the feedback loop is very fast. So you can ship the product anytime, and you can still have the user to know it, if it failed or not, or it's going to be a success. And also the team, the World team has been very supportive. They are very responsive. They give great advices. Really good thing for builders. Yes.
I think there's a couple of core things for us that was pretty important, and I think the main thing was actually World ID. For our purposes, we really needed to be able to verify that users were real, 100% real, and not sort of have bots, which is, it's very common. People build bots on blockchains for the specific purpose of sort of gaming a lot of the apps, and you'll find that a lot of activity on other networks is all bots. Actually, I could name some names of some networks, but you guys can think through maybe some of those, who they are. But it's very common, and a lot of networks have actually had the problem of having a lot of activity, but then everything sort of drops off all at once a lot of the value is extracted. So for our purposes, World ID was really important because we didn't want to have that value extracted. We wanted to be serving, real users, real customers. And we could do that confidently with World ID, knowing that users were getting orb verified, which is a very important aspect. And it's actually a very easy process. All around the world, I've talked to people that have gotten like orb verified. I am. And it's like a very easy, smooth process. You get rewarded for it as well. And so that's kind of the next point that I was going to go into is the pre-funded accounts. You need to be able to sort of bootstrap your economy on a network, and I think World Chain, they've done a really good job of doing that because otherwise a lot of the builders that are making these apps on the ecosystem, without having any users, having pre-funded accounts, there's really no economy. They're just sort of users, but they're not able to do anything with that. And the third thing I think would just be bundled mini app transactions, which allows for sort of like gasless transactions for the user. The user never pays any gas fees, if they're verified as a World ID user. So it's really nice. I mean, most of the time, like you've got to load your wallet with like Ethereum or something, and you've got to like go through all these steps just to kind of like get to the actual app experience. Whereas with World, you're ready to go. Day one, like you don't have to worry about any of those things. Of course, you can also have World tokens from claiming from or verified or verification. So yeah, I mean those are three things right there that are just like very key parts of the infrastructure that genuinely make a difference that other networks can't even come close to. So
yeah, they're all really great points. Definitely the point on the team as well. Like the team at World really put so much effort into supporting developers and making the experience as great as possible. So you really can count on that if you start building in this ecosystem. The other thing that I think is unique here is the growth, in the sense that the user base is constantly expanding. So you can go quite fast, you can test things, you can make mistakes, knowing that A, you'll be able to get the help you need to fix those mistakes, and B, the user base is still growing, right? So you're still going to have more opportunities to bring more users in and make a better second impression or a first impression for the new users. I think that's like a really unique thing here. So yeah, you can iterate, you can count on support, and your user base is constantly growing. I think another point as well that is a mistake I made was not localizing from the offset. I thought, all right, I can do that later, it's not a problem, let's just get it out there. But actually, if you're building, I would think about that first, or at least have a plan for how you're going to localize, because this is global. So if you build with localization in mind, translating, that's easier than ever now with large language models. You can feed all of the string files in and get your translations, load them in, and translate for as many countries as you can. You can see obviously the growth in Thailand is huge, but that's happening in other countries too. So yeah, translate, localize, and have that plan from the offset.
All right, and then the last thing from my side is, while there's many unique things about World, I think definitely the proof of human is the most iconic, right? It's the orb. I wonder, for you as builders, what has it in practice unlocked, right? Like, what have you been able to do it? And then if you can also say, like, what is an app that you would love if someone else could build that is enabled, that could only exist with World ID? Whether it's something that you want to build or something that you wish someone else could build if you had a magic wand. What is just an app, whether it's a mini app or an external app or website that could use World ID that would not be possible without it?
Okay, so answering the first part of the question, basically anything where you want to make sure that somebody only does an action once. That's what the offer here is, right? So whether that's giving someone an allowance or letting them do something like a vote or any airdrops, anything that you want somebody to be able to do just once, you've got that guarantee. So that's like a huge design space. Like there's so many things that applies to. There's actually a good webpage somewhere on the World website that breaks down like all of the different ways in which that's useful. So yeah, I think that's great. And also, it allows people to build reputation with anonymity, which is quite like a novel concept. You can build a reputation, but nobody knows who you are. And that works on the dev side as well. You can give your users accountability. If they're rule breakers or they're doing something wrong, they've only got that one account. So you as a developer can can warn them, ideally, before banning them, but if you do ban them, that's it. So it brings accountability and reputation, which is important, right? We need more of that.
Yeah, I think that's super powerful for mini games, especially. I think we've seen where like it just sucks when you're playing a game and someone's cheating, and so knowing that you can now finally have fair play in games, I think is going to be a huge.
Yeah, and also, but like warning people first as well. Like for gaming, obviously, someone's cheating, maybe like a timeout first. Actually, we do this on the World Discord server, right? So if you guys join the World Discord server, you'll see that you need to use your World ID to verify, and then you get permission to speak in all the channels and everything unlocks. So we're like super cautious about not banning people if they've got that role, you know, like we give warnings, we give timeouts. We really don't want to ban people that have got that World ID or verified role because they can only do that once on that Discord account. So then if they try and join again, they're not going to be able to get back in, right? So that's like a really powerful use case. It means that people are going to behave better and be more inclined to build a reputation around their account.
Yeah, actually, I would kind of lean on the reputation scoring as well. I think without getting into like too much detail, I think reputation is kind of like a key thing for the proof of personhood. You can essentially have KYC, for a user without having all the cumbersome process of entering in your details all the time, or like keeping track of all those details. And so if you can log into 100 different apps using the same sort of KYC, same proof of personhood, you can start building up a reputation that could have, it could be used for games, it could be used for, various other use cases. But I think, maybe that's the key thing I would say is reputation scoring, without going into too much detail.
So if you are Web3 users, you know that there's sniping and bots everywhere on the chain. So as a Web3 users, like for example, building a launchpad, we can use World ID. It's like a priority land, so that real user can has the priority to buy something first or have more allocation, and so they will get more benefit being a real user, a verified user, and then it's our control, the developer control, to decide to give the rest to the bot or not. So that's what we are trying to do. And I remember there's a second part of the question, right?
What's an app that you would love for someone to build that is only possible with World ID?
I'm thinking about like these days there's so many AI generated content. Would it be an app that like a social experience, like you can prove the content is generated by a human. So like a social network, but for real human with verify that media is by a human.
Yeah, I also love what you said about the priority for humans, because I think that's obviously applies on Web3, but also Web2, right? Like one of the thing I can't wait for people to build, which I'm very excited there's actually one company doing it here in Thailand, is concert tickets, right? I think that like that's the classic thing where it's just so annoying. Like your favorite artist is going to come to your country and the tickets go on sale and they all go to the bots. And so now what I think we're going to start seeing is for concert tickets, there will first be a pre-sale only for humans. If you're a verified human, you can get your tickets at a decent price. And then once that is done, then they will open it up for everyone and the bots will take them and then they will be really expensive. But that is one that I'm really excited for, which is exactly what you're saying. So I think that what you were saying applies not just for Web2, but Web3. And I think that's also been part of the magic of mini apps, that it's amazing for crypto developers, but also there's all sorts of Web2 companies that are building really cool things with them. And because all this is abstracted away from the user, it doesn't really matter. All right. Thank you so much, all three of you, for coming over. I know that all of you had to travel to come here. We're super grateful that you were here. For everyone that's in the audience, I can't say enough about how cool the apps that these guys have built and just how much they know about the space. So I will volunteer them. I'm sure they will be at the networking site later today, and so feel free to walk up to them, like learn more about the ecosystem, and I'm sure they'll tell you not just the good things like they just did, but some of the challenges that they've had and some of the lessons that they've learned. All right, but thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please stay with us on the stage because we have Q&A.